So welcome again. This week, I want to talk to you whether you are a coach, a nutritionist, a wellness coach, someone who's in the healing modalities, someone who does this kind of work with people, personal trainers, whatever it is, whatever people are in the wellness space, we want to talk about cravings. Now, particularly, I want to talk to you what happens with your clients when they swap cravings, when they switch substance, when they switch stuff. Now, this was one of my very interesting observations. I must have been, look, I was probably still in my 30s. I wasn't all that young, but I didn't really take too much notice of the world, I must say, until I got into my 30s. And at this stage, I started to recognize and realize or take notice of people who were using drugs at the time. So I grew up in an area, anyone who lives in Sydney, down in Cabramatta, it kind of just ended up in this drug den of Sydney for a long time. And I lived not too far from there. So I had a lot of interaction and a lot of time to be down in the town. And I started to see, unfortunately, people who were addicted to all sorts of drugs that hadn't been probably hadn't really been in my life, or hadn't been in my viewpoint, or hadn't been in my space to be able to recognize and notice. Maybe that's why it took me a longer time to notice it than what other people do. But what I noticed with these people were people who were, I'm just going to say, clearly they were drug addicted, was smoking cigarettes. And it was really interesting for me to go, when they can't get their thing of preference, when they can't get their substance, their thing that changes how they feel and how they react in the moment, when they can't get that, they've got to substitute one. And that was kind of my very first recognitions of that sort of stuff. But let's kind of bring it back into more mainstream and back into out of that space and back into more for where we would be working with our clients. Most of our clients who we work with aren't necessarily drug addicted in that space, but we as humans can really get caught up quite a lot in addictions of all sorts of different kinds. Everything from, we can be addicted to the shopping, we can be addicted to drama, we can be addicted to alcohol, we can food and chocolate and smoking and gambling and gaming. And what all of these things have in common is it's how it makes us feel. It helps us to distract from what we are feeling and to move us away in our thoughts and feelings and in our bodily sensations from what we don't want to feel. And it gives us a bit of a hit, a bit of a high, and a bit of an intensity in what we do want to feel. And that's really, really key and really a big crux of it here when we start to talk about cravings is when a person has a desire to feel a certain way, or a pull towards feeling a certain way, or the body needs that feeling, the body craves those chemicals and the endorphins and the feel goods and the way it makes us feel. When we have that, there is a pull, there is like this magnetic force that's going to start to pull those things into us because the body needs. So when we start to work with cravings with people, when we are actually working one-on-one with our clients and helping them to release the cravings of one thing, we need to be conscious of a couple of different factors to this. One, we need to, I language it as today's solution. Today's problem was yesterday's solution. So whatever was a solution for somebody yesterday is now the problem. That's the thing that we're now craving. So say it was food, it was cigarettes. I worked with a beautiful client who craved dream chocolate. Now, the dream chocolate to her wasn't the thing that she was craving. What it was the best friend that bought her the chocolate when life was doing really shit things to her. The friend bought her the chocolate, so the connection was made. The love connection, the cared for connection, all that connection was made through the chocolate. When we were able to work on separating the chocolate from the feeling, that it wasn't the chocolate that was making her feel good, it was the connection with a friend, that desire for that chocolate, that dream chocolate, completely went away for her because it was never about the thing. So what we need to do with our clients is, when we're starting to help them remove cravings for certain things, we also need to be mindful of what is the connection to it. So when we teach our clients to do, or sorry, our practitioners to do cravings work, what we'll teach them to be able to do is work on the actual thing. So same as me, I love twisties. For those of you who are down in Southern Hemisphere, twisties were like crunch, 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 crunch. Love the crunch, just love the crunch. So when I did work with my coach on, or my EFT coach, on getting rid of the craving for twisties, we did a great job on the twisties. Then when it came to the conversation that was, so if you were never able to have them ever again, oh, that was a little bit of another twinge back. Okay, so who did you love eating twisties with? Oh, when we started to have those conversations, I was able to undo deeper layers of what the twisties meant. So we could get rid of the cravings really easily. But what we've got to do with our clients is get rid of the craving for the crave stuff, but you've got to then go on to another level, because we've got to get rid of the emotional attachment for the thing that they're after. So me, for my twisties, if we hadn't dealt with what the emotional side was, or why I went for them and what it was about them, it would be more challenging, because there's a really good chance I would do what this class is about and I would switch cravings for something else. I have a very, very dear friend who has given up cigarettes. Well done him. He's a fitness guy now, but he drinks a lot of coffee. And it's not just coffee, it's the sugary sachet type coffee. They've got a lot of sugar in them. Not real good for the body. But he switched from one to the other. I have seen lots of people, we all know people who are smoking, and they give up smoking and they go to coffee, or do they go to food, or do they drink alcohol? What do they replace it with? So when we're doing cravings work with someone, we've got to get underneath to work out what the drivers are, to work out what the attachment is. What's the thing that makes you come home in the afternoon and go, I need to pop open that bottle of wine? If you help your clients get rid of the craving for wine or the desire for wine, you've got to work out why they're doing that. Is it a reward system? Is it that they came from a family that you were rewarded when you had a big day, and yes, you deserve this and you should have this? What were those conversations? So we want to get underneath, and we want to separate the craved food, the craved substance, the craved thing from the driver behind it. Now let's sort of go into gambling and sort of some of the gaming sort of stuff. So while they are not ingested and taken into the body, they are certainly things that give us a hit. And when I say give us a hit, there is this, when you win at a game, bing, 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 computer game. When we win, there's this bit of a high in the body. There's a bit of, oh, look at that. Oh, I won. Oh, that was good. And, lights and shiny things go off and all the rest of it. That sends messages to the body that, oh, this feels good, this feels good. So when we start to talk about gaming and gambling and stuff like that, there is that, oh, it feels good. Oh, it feels good. The body will also crave those chemicals. The body will crave those feelings and the adrenaline, the cortisols, and all the good stuff that comes up. It will crave all of that stuff. So when you're working with your clients, you've got to be able to go in underneath and clear all that. Now, if you're listening to this as a layperson, you're going like, man, I've got some stuff going on. You want to get a great EFT practitioner. We graduate great EFT practitioners. Head to australiantappinginstitute.com.au and you'll see there's a whole list of find a practitioner. Go and get one of our trained ones, because they know and they understand not to just deal with the cravings on top. They know to deal with all the other stuff underneath that's going on. So when we talk about gambling and gaming, stuff like that, that's lend into drama as well. There are people who crave drama. And the reason they crave the drama is, again, it's the chemical hit. It's the chemical high. It's the what's coming out in my body. What is my body needing? What are the emotional connective stuff which comes through, as said, as cortisol and adrenaline and epinephrines and all the feel goods that then come through, and all that stuff that triggers in the brain and feels good in the body, all comes from those things, if that's your thing. So we've got to get underneath it. So if your clients are giving up one thing and you're finding that they're heading into something else, or they appear to be introducing something else, that means you haven't gone deep enough in clearing out the bottom stuff. You haven't gone deep enough in clearing out what the emotional aspects are. What are the reasons why I'll step into a different space. I believe that when we are addicted to certain substances or certain things, it is because it makes us feel a certain way, but the body craves that, the body needs that. We need that chemical hit. So when we get into clearing cravings, you've just got to go there and you've just got to clear them and you've just got to get underneath them. So I'm hoping that is super, super valuable. This is one of them topics that's just so many facets to it that can happen. However, the clearing of the cravings work can be super simple. If you'd love to be a practitioner and you'd love to know how to do this with other people, please get in touch with us. We have our training portfolio is open. We have our practitioner of EFT and we have our advanced practitioner of EFT. Neither one needs any prerequisites to get in. You just come straight in and all the foundational stuff is all included. So if you'd love to do this with your clients, get in touch and talk to us and see where we can help you. Because doing cravings work, so some of my funnest, whether it's a word or not, some of my funnest stuff to do, because it never ends up being about the thing that they think that they're craving. It's so fun to watch it move and morph and change and just move around so much. It's just wonderful and I just love it. So if you'd love to be a practitioner, come and join us. If you have questions, please drop us a direct message. I'll see you all again really soon.